Iron Maiden's The Future Past tour is about to start in Europe. And this of course is no news, but the most recent announcements by Iron Maiden, and not only, actually suggest that this might be a much more grand tour than we originally expected. Just as we predicted after announcing their appearance at this massive Power Trip festival in California, which, by the way, for the record, I have to say is absolutely amazing, and just the whole idea that we will finally get to see Ozzy Osbourne and AC/DC up on stage is just mind-blowing.
Exactly.
But given the fact that it's just 6 bands over the course of 3 days, I just don't really consider it a festival, but I think it should be considered more of a set of individual concerts by some of the biggest metal bands on the planet, which just happen to take place at almost the same time and at the same place. But wait, this video is not about it. But the band also announced the first 3 dates of the Future Past tour in Western Canada, which of course is very much understandable, for I have no idea how much you have to get paid for the Power Trip Festival to be able to justify bringing all of this massive production over from Europe to California for just one night. And of course the good thing that 4 nights is still not enough for a proper leg of a tour for a band like Iron Maiden, and thus I think it is fair to assume that the North American part of the Future Past tour will happen somewhere around those dates in autumn this year. So, given the fact that their European leg of the tour ends in early August with a show at Wacken Open Air in Germany, although I do really hope that there will be at least one more show added after that in Kyiv, Ukraine, if you know what I mean. I guess it would be most logical to assume that Iron Maiden might take a couple of weeks off while moving their production over across the ocean and start, at least at first, the North American leg of the tour in early September, slowly making it from the west to the east coast of the continent. And then, without going to South America, most likely ending this leg of the tour sometime in late October, early November this year, for at least 2 reasons. Number one is, no matter what you personally think about Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, is the fact that Iron Maiden are actually in the top 5 of the fan vote and thus have a pretty good chance of actually making it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year. The ceremony for which in 2023 will happen in New York sometime in late October, early November.
And then they'll be forever honored inside our incredible museum and inside this Hall of Fame.
And number 2, well, is the fact that Bruce Dickinson is actually already confirmed as a keynote speaker for the Wine Future 2023 conference in Portugal, which will happen on November 7th to November 9th. And unless he'll be given a gift of time travel by then, well, he kinda has to be in Europe. But most importantly, not so long ago, the rumors and talks about Iron Maiden returning with at least 3 dates in Brazil in 2024 started circulating around the internet. And the whole idea that Rod Smallwood actually confirmed that the Future Past tour will happen in 2024, of course, aligned quite well with those talks.
Yes.
And so I actually think that instead of trying to squeeze it in this year, somewhere in the beginning of 2024, Iron Maiden might actually do a proper run in South America, and also, if they're lucky before that, playing some dates in Oceania. Which, if you think about it, is great news not only for the fans in those regions, but also for those countries where this tour is about to start soon. Because even if it ends by the end of March, the band most likely will not have enough time to prepare the production for a new tour to start in just a couple of months. And come on, Iron Maiden is definitely not one of those bands to miss a summer festival run. And it is also aligned with the whole change in touring pattern for some of the major bands like Iron Maiden, Metallica, Judas Priest and so on that we've discussed on a show in the past, when with the increase in fees from the venues and merch cuts, most of the major bands will try to reduce their fixed costs and thus do not plan tours for 1 year anymore and do it at least for a 2-year run. And even more, if we simply take a look at Iron Maiden's history, we'll see that in 2025 the heavy metal legends will turn 50, and since the Future Past is their last retrospective tour, it simply makes a lot of sense for them to take it on the road for a full 2-year-long swing and make it as grand as it is possible, which will also affect the secondary sales of their latest studio album Senjutsu, and then take some time off to prepare something extraordinary for their 50th birthday for the Maiden family worldwide. And so who knows, if the Future Past Tour will become one of those massive world tours Iron Maiden did do in the past, somewhere in time might finally move up the discography ladder and become not the most overlooked 1980s Iron Maiden album. Although it is still very unlikely. Oh, and speaking about the set list, guys, as we are getting closer and closer to the start of the Future Past Tour, as agreed, I will of course release more and more episodes about it. So if for some reason you're still not subscribed to the Metal Pilgrim channel, because the truth is only around 30% of the people who are watching my videos are actually subscribed to this channel, please consider doing it right now. And unless it's your first time on YouTube, I think you know where to click. But the biggest question with this scenario of the Future Past Tour lasting for almost 2 years is what the flip will happen to Bruce Dickinson's solo album, which, as we all know, is almost ready, yet Bruce promised that we will get to hear it after the Future Past Tour, and in support of which he also promises to go on a solo tour as well.
Okay, when are we going to hear some new solo material? Soon. There will be a tour.
And since I personally do not believe that we will have to wait until 2025 to hear the new Bruce Dickinson solo album, especially since, as we already said, it will be the year of the band's 50th anniversary, although it will not come until the end of the year, I think that we'll get to hear it at the latest by the beginning of 2024, meaning that Iron Maiden will most likely have to make a little break in their touring schedule next year for Bruce Dickinson to hit the road with his new studio record. Most likely around the same time, it will be done by the British Lion and Smith and Cotton as well. But either way, the next 2 years promise to be very exciting for all Iron Maiden fans around the world. And I actually believe that as the band is getting older, and some would say even bigger than it has ever been, the boys at this stage of their career will not settle for mediocrity when it comes to a major world tour in support of their one of the most beloved by the fans, yet unfortunately overlooked studio album and their latest output at the same time. And if you do have a chance of catching that show on the road but still hesitating whether you should or not, just go and witness it in a town nearby. At least just do it for me. So please do let us know whether you are planning to see Iron Maiden on the road on their Future Past Tour, and whether you personally think if it will go on until the end of 2024 or not. Thank you so much for watching this very short and spontaneous video, guys, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!